Hello friends and relatives, this is Leilani with the Begani Bigfoot Storytelling Project. We wanted to do something a little different and share Carrie Lynn's story. I know you have heard it throughout some of our stories on our channel, but we decided it was time that she tell her story straightforward. It was in 1999. I was living in North Carolina and Carrie Lynn was living on the Blackfeet reservation. We were both raised and we lived there, but I left for the army and moved across the country. We kept in contact with one another and we called each other to shoot the breeze or just merely catch up on our daily lives as young moms and wives. But one day she called me to tell me about her Bigfoot encounter she had right from the kitchen table where we ate hundreds of bowls of cereals throughout our kid lives. I was intrigued the first time she told me her story, and the fascination has stayed alive over the years. Not only for her, but for me too. As a journalist, I have been feeling this calling to record and help carry these true stories to others who have had Bigfoot experiences, and to those of us who haven't. Yesterday, on a beautiful Saturday morning and afternoon, Carrie Lynn and I had a unique opportunity to take a new friend and a dear close friend of mine on a hike on the Blackfeet reservation. This is where she shared her Bigfoot encounter with our guests, just above the hill where the sighting happened.
So my sighting that got me into Bigfoot and got me walking these hills and stuff happened in the summer of 1999. And so if you can see this road here, they call it Starspool Road. And then see where it comes to the Y? Right there. Well, if you look, you see a little road going up that open area. Well, that's my mom and dad's property up there. And their house used to sit up there, and a few years ago they moved it to town. But so that's where kind of me and Lonnie grew up, wandering those hills and that ridge up there and everything. And so in 1997, 98, I was living in Flathead going to SKC. And after I graduated, we moved home, and so we couldn't find a rent right away. So me and my husband at the time and my little boy, we were staying with my folks out there till we could try to get a rent in town. And so me and my mom were home alone, and we were just sitting there having coffee and visiting. And it was about probably, I'd say about noon, maybe about it's kind of midday, and we were sitting there. Okay, so see where the Y comes? Right there. Well, if you just come this way, right by those pine trees, there's a house back there. Right at the time that this experience happened, this sighting, there was nobody living back there. And so where these pine trees are, right behind those pine trees, you'll see a little open area. There's no trees there. It's kind of like a little hill and like a little knoll like that. And then I was sitting in the kitchen and looking over in this direction. Well, I noticed that the cows were running all over and acting really strange. And I was like, I told my mom, boy, those cows are acting weird. Usually just walk around and eat. So that was my focus. I kept kind of laughing at those cows, and I'd see them run this way and they'd run that way. And then finally I seen there was a cow standing there, and it was kind of gazing up in this direction. So I kind of followed where it was looking. And that's when I seen that thing standing there. And it was all black, and it was really tall. And I wouldn't say like it was bulky, but it was, what I noticed about it was just real tall and just pitch black, just really a black color. And it was standing there, and what it looked like, it was looking over towards our direction. And I told my mom, I was like, oh my God, Mom, look, there's something over there. It's standing there, you know. And so she turned and she was like trying to see, and I was trying to show her. So that area kind of looked like this part right here. See where it's open? And there was trees, but they weren't these trees. They were pine trees behind it. And so it was standing like about right here, looking over toward us. And then it turned and it started to walk back into the trees. And it just took seconds, like, to turn and walk back to the trees. And I spun around and my dad had binoculars sitting there, and I grabbed them and I put them up, and it took me a while to kind of get focused back on it where it was standing. And so when I got focused on it, it was just going into the trees when I caught it. And I caught the side of it, and you could see the black long hair on it. And it really looked like it didn't have a neck, you know. It just looked like it was like shoulders and then a head. And I was telling Lonnie, I said it did kind of have, like, you know how they say it has like almost a cone shaped head to it. That's the way it kind of it looked. And then I'm just like freaking out, you know. After it went into the trees, I'm freaking out, and I'm like, Mom, that was a Bigfoot. And she's like, are you sure it's not a bear? Because by the time she's got, you know, kind of focused to where I was showing her, she saw like two little things like run into the trees. And that's why she thought maybe they might have been cubs or something. She said, and I was telling her, no, that's not a bear. It's walking upright like a person. It's just walking like a man. I said, and it's hairy. I said, it went into the trees. And she said, well, she said later on, after she kind of thought about what it was she saw, she said, I thought maybe it might have been cubs. She said, but then when I seen how cubs run, you know how cubs kind of go like this, like that when they're running, they kind of go like that. She said this ran more like, you know, when you see monkeys, how monkeys run, you know, they run on all fours and they kind of go like that. She said, that's what those little thing, and they were black too. She said, that's what I saw. She said, but I just got not a long, you know, view of them. She said, I just saw them when they went into the trees. So that was me and my mom's experience out here. And so like all our lives, we've heard of Bigfoot, you know, and the Blackfeet call Bigfoot Iimoitapi. It means hairy man. And the Blackfeet don't consider Bigfoot to be like an animal. They consider it to Bigfoot to be kind of like a person, you know, like another person or another people or another type of people that live in the forest. So they don't even consider them to be animal. We heard of Bigfoot and Sasquatch and stuff, but I never, and heard other stories, you know, kind of heard people tell their stories, but I never had an experience with that until 1999. To be alive, to be free, to live.